Her skin shimmered like stardust as she leaned close, her breath warming my jaw. "You touched the collar," she whispered, voice trembling. "Now. I'm yours." I had only meant to fix it, just an old alien device in a wrecked cargo hold. I didn't expect it to bind her to me, body and soul. I didn't expect her to look at me like that, like I had just taken ownership of the universe itself. And I definitely didn't expect her next words: "You cannot break the bond, even if you tried." The ship was dead. Floating, quiet, and empty, at least, that's what the scan said. No power signatures, no crew logs, just another piece of cosmic scrap drifting near the edge of the Delta Nebula. That's where I usually found the good stuff. I docked my skiff with practiced ease and climbed aboard, torch in hand, boots clanging on the metal floor. Everything smelled stale. Air recyclers were off. No hum from the engine core. Just silence, and a thick blanket of time. I didn't find her right away. Instead, I found the collar. It was lying in a pile of loose plating beside what looked like a crashed cryopod. The device pulsed faintly, a crescent shape of silver-black metal, etched with glowing symbols I couldn't translate. I'd seen alien tech before, cloaking generators, neural jacks, even memory disks, but this was different. This felt personal. I picked it up. Immediately, it hummed to life in my hand. Lights flared down its spine, and I felt something cold wrap around my wrist like static. "Whoa," I muttered, setting it on my repair mat. The surface began adjusting temperature automatically, some sort of bioreceptive alloy. But there was a crack running down one side, and half its circuits were misaligned. Probably why it was left behind. Broken junk. Or so I thought. I couldn't help myself. Fixing things was what I did. I got lost in it, soldering filaments, rerouting microthreads, bypassing a strange organic capacitor that seemed to pulse with some kind of heartbeat. When it finally lit up in full power, the collar hovered midair and then dropped, straight into my lap. And that's when I heard it, a muffled groan. It came from behind a fallen panel, just beyond the cryo unit. I ripped it away and found her there, slumped in a gravity harness, breathing shallowly. Her skin was metallic gold, glowing faintly under the emergency lights. Her hair fell in sleek black waves, tipped in a strange ultraviolet hue. Eyes half open, lips parted, she looked human, but she wasn't. And then the collar shot from my lap, glowing hot. It clamped around her neck before I could even stand up. Her eyes flew open. She screamed. I fell backward as she lunged, snarling like a cornered animal. But the collar pulsed again, and she froze in place, eyes locked on me, chest heaving. "Where am I?" she asked, voice low, hoarse. I raised both hands slowly. "Easy. You were in cryo. I found you here. I didn't mean to." The collar, her fingers touched it with dread. "Why did you activate it?" "Why?" I didn't know what it was. I just fixed it. It was broken, I swear. She stared at me, trembling. Her body tensed like she wanted to run, but the collar stopped her, or maybe something deeper did. "You repaired it," she said softly. "And you're not one of them." "One of who?" Her gaze narrowed. "The Tizari. Slavers. I was running. They were hunting me." I slowly stood, watching the flicker of wariness in her expression. Her body was built for strength, lithe, tall, powerful. But she looked at me like I held a blade to her throat. "Look," I said, gesturing toward the skiff docked outside, "I'll help you get out of here. You're free." She laughed, but it was bitter. "You think it's that simple? You activated the bonding protocol. The collar accepted your genetic imprint. What does that mean?" She stepped forward slowly. Not threatening, but intense. "It means I am yours. You are my registered alpha." I blinked. "Excuse me? I am not a slave," she hissed, "but the collar was used long ago for other purposes. Bonding. Control. Choice removed. It links minds. Bodies. Emotions. Once linked, it cannot be undone." My heart thudded against my ribs. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to fix things. I fix things. That's all I do. Something shifted in her then. A moment of stillness. She studied me, This human man who stumbled into something ancient and forbidden. Your mind is clear, she murmured. You aren't trying to command me. You didn't activate the dominance pulse. You didn't even know what this was. I shook my head. No. I didn't. She stepped closer. Inches away now. The light of the collar bathed her throat in silver. Then why does it feel warm? She whispered. I didn't have an answer. I could feel her breath on my lips. I didn't even know her name, but the room felt heavier, charged like we were already bound by something neither of us chose. What's your name? I asked. She hesitated. Zara, she said at last. First blood of House Varnak. Logan, I replied. Engineer. Salvager. Just a guy with a wrench. Her lips quirked. Almost a smile. Almost. I need to get this off, she said, her fingers brushing the collar's edge. Before it changes more. Changes what? Me, she said. You. She pulled back suddenly and turned, pacing. We need to leave before the signal activates. Once the collar locks, it will alert any surviving trackers. They'll know I'm alive. Then we go, I said without hesitation. She looked back over her shoulder, eyes flashing. You'd risk yourself for a stranger you just met. I met her gaze. You're not a stranger anymore. Her breath caught. She didn't reply. Instead, she walked past me, brushing my shoulder just enough to send a jolt through my entire nervous system. The collar pulsed again, this time in sync with my heartbeat. I didn't understand what was happening. Not fully. But I knew one thing. She wasn't the only one who had just been claimed. She stood at the edge of the docking bay ramp, silhouetted against the nebula's pale blue glow. I couldn't see her expression, but I could feel the tension in her shoulders, the way her arms hung rigidly at her sides. She didn't move, not even when I stepped up behind her. We're clear, I said softly. No power signatures nearby. Nothing on the radar. She didn't answer. Just stared out into the stars like she was trying to find something she'd left behind. Finally, she spoke. The collar has stopped broadcasting, for now. I exhaled. So, what now? She turned. Her eyes, so alien and yet so human, searched mine. You don't understand what this means, Logan, she said quietly. This isn't like your species' tech. It doesn't just tag ownership. It intertwines instincts, thoughts, chemical signals, emotional bindings. My kind were bred to respond to this. You activated it. You're inside me now, in a way you can't undo. She stepped closer. The light from the overhead sensor strip painted her skin gold, her collar gleaming like liquid mercury. And you feel it too, she added. I didn't respond, because I couldn't lie. I did feel it. The pull. The flicker of heat every time she looked at me. The way my heart shifted rhythm when she was near. My instincts screamed that she was dangerous, but everything else, everything raw and human, wanted to reach out and touch her again. I didn't ask for this, I said, voice low. Neither did I. A beat passed between us, thick with emotion neither of us could name. She brushed past me again, her shoulder grazing mine like it had in the ship. Just enough to make me dizzy. I followed her down the corridor, into the skiff's main chamber. She moved with grace and precision, her every step a reminder that she was more than just beautiful, she was trained, disciplined, powerful. But now, vulnerable, too. I was meant to be married, she said suddenly, without turning around. To a warlord. Political arrangement. My people think emotion is weakness. So they created these collars, long ago, to force loyalty through biology. They were outlawed a century ago. Destroyed. She looked at me over her shoulder. Except someone rebuilt one. And now it's around my neck. You said it doesn't control the mind, I said. It doesn't, she replied. But it makes you want to be near the person you're bonded to. It intensifies touch. Desire. Connection. It makes it hard to resist. I stepped closer, unable to stop myself. Are you resisting? She didn't answer. Her jaw clenched slightly, her eyes locked to mine. She could have pulled away. Could have pushed me back. But she didn't. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I can feel your heartbeat in my chest, Logan. I feel it when you're angry. When you're afraid. When you're looking at me like that. Like what? Her lips parted. Like you want to kiss me. I didn't say a word. My hands were trembling slightly. Every rational part of me told me to keep my distance. But nothing about this moment felt rational. And she didn't back away. She leaned forward just enough for her forehead to rest against mine. The collar pulsed softly between us, one heartbeat, two bodies. I hate that I want this, she murmured. Then stop me, I whispered. She didn't. Her fingers curled around my wrist, pulling me forward the rest of the way. Our mouths met, slow, hesitant, electric. The kiss was warm, magnetic. Her lips tasted like heat and stars. The connection between us flared raw, physical, almost overwhelming. Then she broke away, panting, eyes wide. This isn't safe, she said, stepping back. The longer we're bonded, the harder it will be to sever. The collar doesn't just enhance feelings, it rewrites them. I'm not sure what I feel is being written, I said. I think it's just real. She stared at me. And then the ship's console beeped. A soft chime, followed by red warning text flashing across the screen. Inbound signal. Unrecognized vessel. Distance, 740,000 kilometers and closing. Someone's following us, I muttered. Her body shifted into battle posture instantly. It's them. The Bounty Network. They know I'm alive. We have minutes. She moved with speed, powering up defense shields, calibrating nav engines, checking external turrets. I helped where I could, fingers moving across controls I built from scratch. She was sharp, efficient. We worked like we'd done this for years. The signal got closer. 500,000 kilometers. This ship isn't fast enough to outrun a Tizari Hunter class, she said. So we hide. Where? I pulled up the nearby system maps. There's an asteroid field 10 minutes from here. Debris clouds, electromagnetic scatter. If we keep power low, we might lose them. Or die in the field. I looked at her. You'd rather surrender? She gave a fierce smile. Never. We jumped into the field seconds before the tracking ship locked its weapons. Massive hunks of rock and ice tumbled around us. I killed the main engines, switched to drift mode, and cut power to all but life support. We sat in silence. Listening. Waiting. Zara stood behind me, close enough that I could feel her body heat. Then I felt her fingers again, grazing my forearm, slow, deliberate. I've never met a male who didn't try to control me, she said softly. Not until you. I don't want control, I said. I just want to understand you. Her breath was on my neck. You're not what I expected, Logan. And you're nothing I've ever even imagined. She kissed my shoulder just once and then stepped back. The moment was fragile. Charged. Suspended in the dark between danger and desire. And we were only just beginning to fall. We stayed hidden in the asteroid field for over an hour, drifting in silence. Outside the ship, rocks the size of city blocks tumbled by, casting fleeting shadows through the cockpit glass. Inside, time slowed, thick with unspoken thoughts. Zara hadn't moved from her place near the weapons console. I could feel her watching me, even when I wasn't looking. Like she was memorizing the way I breathed. Like she could feel every rise and fall of my chest, every flicker of emotion that passed through me. She probably could. The collar made sure of that. I leaned forward, checking the scans again. The Tizari ship had passed through the outer edge of the field, then vanished from sensors. Either they'd given up or they were waiting, just like us. We can't stay here forever, I said. I know. She stepped beside me, arms crossed over her chest. She looked calm, but I could see the tension in her jaw, the quiet storm in her eyes. Why are they after you? I asked. Not just the collar. Not just because you escaped. There's more. Her shoulders stiffened. I didn't push. I just waited. Finally, she spoke. I was promised to a warlord, she said. Not just any warlord, Varin, the bone harvester. He owns half of Sector 11, and he wanted a mate from noble blood. My father agreed to the deal in secret. Charming. It was supposed to be political. No emotion. Just airs. Alliances. Control. Her voice grew tight. But I overheard Varin's plan. He wanted to use me to unlock something ancient. Something hidden in my family's genetics. The collar was just the first step. She glanced at me. I stole it. Ran with it. Got off-world. Crashed. And now the collar's bonded you to me. She nodded once. I don't care who wants to use you, I said. You're not a weapon. You're not a tool. You're you. Her eyes softened. She looked away, as if the compliment hurt more than the collar. I'm not used to kindness, she said quietly. Then get used to it. She looked back at me, and this time, there was something unguarded in her gaze. A crack in the armor. Logan, she whispered. There's something you need to know about the collar. I tensed. It's changing you too. I stared at her. What do you mean? She reached for my hand. Her fingers slid against my skin, warm, electric. The collar pulsed in rhythm. It links us chemically, yes, but also emotionally. Mentally. Even spiritually. I feel your fear, but also your desires. Your dreams. When you think about touching me, I feel it. I swallowed hard. And I feel you, she added. Every time you try to look away from me. Every time you force yourself to keep distance. It hurts. 1,000 things ran through my head. Words. Logic. Warnings. But none of them mattered, because all I wanted to do was close the space between us. And so I did. My hands found her waist. Hers slid up my chest. We kissed again, this time slower, deeper. Her body molded into mine as if we'd done this before, in another life, in another galaxy. Her lips were soft but searching. Her breath hitched when my fingers brushed the small of her back. The collar pulsed hard between us, heat, light, sensation. It wasn't controlling us. It was just amplifying what we already couldn't deny. When we finally broke apart, we didn't speak. There was no need. But the moment shattered when the console behind us beeped an encrypted message from an external relay. Unknown source detected. Play transmission. Zara moved fast, tapping the console. The screen flickered. Static cleared to reveal a holographic projection, a tall alien figure in sleek armor, half his face hidden behind a crimson visor. Zara of House Varnak, the voice drawled. You run, but your scent is known. You hide, but your bond betrays you. Return now, or we take the human instead. The message ended. She stood there, frozen. They know about me, I said. They've always known, she whispered. But now they know what you are to me. She turned, hands shaking. I need to sever the bond, she said suddenly. Now. Before they use it. What? There's one place left. A sanctuary world hidden. The ancients used it to test compatibility before the collar system was outlawed. The tech there can neutralize the bond, or make it permanent. Those are the only two options. She nodded. But if we wait, they'll track us. You'll be in danger. I can't let that happen. Zara, I said, reaching for her hand, what if I don't want it severed? She looked at me like I'd just spoken a language she didn't understand. You should want it severed, she said. This bond is dangerous. Addictive. It changes who we are. Or maybe it shows us who we really are. She stared at me, blinking slowly. Her fingers tightened around mine. I don't know what's real anymore, she admitted. I do, I said. And I kissed her again, not because the collar told me to, not because I was overwhelmed, but because I wanted to. When we pulled apart, her eyes shimmered. Let's go, she whispered. She plotted the coordinates manually, fingers flying across the console. The sanctuary world's name appeared on the screen. Vera 9 Ancient Harmony Site restricted. The ship jumped to light speed, stars blurring into lines around us. We were running again, but this time, not from something. We were running toward something. And neither of us knew what we'd become by the time we arrived. Vera 9 wasn't on any official star map. The planet existed in the dead space between systems, veiled by natural magnetic storms and artificial stealth fields, remnants of ancient tech from a time when interstellar empires rose and fell like tides. We pierced through the atmosphere in silence, the ship groaning as it descended into the clouds. Below us, silver forests shimmered like blades. Rivers glowed with soft bioluminescent hues, and ancient spires jutted from the mountains like jagged memories. The air itself felt different, charged, alive. Zara didn't speak. She hadn't since we entered orbit. But I could feel her. Every heartbeat. Every flicker of conflict in her soul. It pulsed through the collar like a second rhythm in my veins. We landed near the ruins of an old temple, round stone arches woven with vines, pulsing faintly with dormant energy. Zara stepped out first, the wind catching her hair, her eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for ghosts. They built this place long before my time, she said, voice low. To test bonds. Mates would come here to see if what they felt was real. And if it wasn't, the collar would burn itself out. The connection would fade. I stepped beside her. And if it was real, then it would bind permanently. Beyond death. Beyond time. We stood at the edge of the threshold. The temple's entrance glowed faintly as we approached, reacting to the collar's signal. Stone doors parted silently, revealing a circular chamber lined with crystalline panels and flowing patterns of light. In the center was a dais. Shimmering threads of energy floated above it, like a living heartbeat suspended in air. This is it, she whispered. The core. Her hands were trembling. You don't have to do this, I said, stepping closer. We can leave. Live out there, somewhere quiet. Stay hidden. She looked at me then, truly looked. I don't want to wonder, she said. I don't want to question whether this is the collar talking, or us. She took my hand. Together, we stepped onto the dais. The moment our feet touched the center, the chamber lit up. Energy surged. The collar flared with white-hot light, sending waves of heat through our bodies. I gasped, clutching her tighter. She arched into me, her hands gripping my shoulders. A voice ancient, layered echoed around us. Connection registered. Integrity scan in progress. Our surroundings blurred. We were no longer in the temple. We stood in a vast, cosmic void. Stars swirled around us like fireflies. Our bodies were still, yet transparent, our memories exposed, streaming between us in silver threads. I saw her childhood. Her training. The moment she realized she would be sold. The pain of hiding her heart for so long. Her dreams of flying free. Her hatred for the collar. Her shock when I fixed it. Her fear, and her hope. And she saw me. Alone. On the edge of forgotten systems. Fixing ships no one remembered. Watching stars from the hull of cold steel. The ache of wanting connection, but never finding it. Until now. Until her. Tears slid down her cheeks. This is real, she whispered. Bond confirmed. Dual voluntary consent detected. A final flare of light surged through the collar. It glowed once, brilliant, white, and then slowly faded into a soft blue. The metal melted into her skin, leaving behind only a thin band of silver etched with our fingerprints, hers and mine. We were still. The void vanished. We stood in the temple again, bathed in golden light. She turned to me, eyes wide, lips trembling. It's permanent now, she breathed. And you're okay with that? She didn't answer with words. She kissed me, deep, hungry, honest. Her hands cradled my face like she was afraid I'd disappear. I kissed her back, pulling her close, grounding her with everything I had. When we finally broke apart, her smile was real. I don't want to be free from you, Logan, she whispered. I want to be with you. Before I could respond, the ground trembled beneath us. Outside, the sky darkened. A ship had entered the atmosphere. The bounty hunters had found us. Zara's face hardened. They'll never stop, I said. Will they? No, she replied. But now. I don't have to run alone. We sprinted back to the skiff, launching just as plasma fire scorched the treetops behind us. I took the controls, she manned the rear turret. We dodged through ancient stone towers and flashing energy beams, the cockpit lit up with warnings and fire trails. You fly like a madman, she called over comms. You shoot like a goddess. The Tizari vessel locked missiles. Zara overrode the weapons system and charged a shot directly into their sensor array. The bounty ship veered, damaged, spiraling into the trees below. We shot out of Vera IX's atmosphere, engines screaming. Back in open space, she collapsed into the co-pilot seat, breathless. "I don't want to go back to my people," she said. "Not as a bride. Not as a pawn. You don't have to." "What do I do now?" I looked at her, heart racing. "Be with me. We can chart our own course. Anywhere. Everywhere. Together." She smiled, slow and real. "I like the sound of that, mate." I grinned. "You're not going to stop calling me that, are you?" "No," she said, climbing onto my lap with a teasing smirk. "Because now, it's true." She kissed me again, and this time, there was no fear. No collar. No warlords. Just her and me and the stars beyond. Our bond was no longer forced. It was chosen. And together, we had a universe to explore.